Welcome to Dicejunkies, and this is a Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 review. I'm here with my boy Q.
Yep.
And I'm Xenodamus, so hope you enjoy. Now we'll divide this up. First we'll go over the movie spoiler-free, and then when we get to where we can't talk around it anymore, we'll announce spoilers and if you haven't seen the movie yet and you don't want to be spoiled, you can cut it off there. So, all right. So, well, right off the bat, man, what did you think?
I was very pleasantly surprised. I did not think they would continue to be this entertaining. The first time they got me on shock factor. Not familiar with the source material. Didn't expect a lot out of it. So really enjoyed it. This time around, I was like, okay, what you bringing this time? And then in the movie, I was like, this is really good.
Yeah, sadly, Guardians of the Galaxy was not one of the comics I grew up really reading. I knew a little bit about them where they've showed up here and there.
I knew there was a raccoon.
Not a raccoon! But, no, I mean, but, you know, so I knew some, and I knew some of the characters. Was that
Nova in the Guardians of the Galaxy?
Oh, I mean, several other Marvel characters have shown up in the Guardians of the Galaxy. There's been a crossover with them and Iron Man, Nova.
You know what? Oh, man, Marvel's got something to work with. They might be planning that as a...
Yeah. You never know. I mean, I think they've showed up with Spider-Man before. And
yeah.
So, I mean, they've teamed up with several people. Now, I don't think Nova or any of them were actual Guardians of the Galaxy, though, members, you know. I mean, they're just sort of temporary characters that show up to cross over and stuff.
Let's get into meat and potatoes.
But yeah, so overall, I liked the movie. I only had a few problems with it.
I know one of them.
The humor was hit or miss. I thought it was a bit jagged in places. What did you think about the humor overall? Because, I mean, the humor is a big part of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
I mean, I put it like this. I had no cringe moments. You know, there were some jokes that I was like, okay. Mm-hmm. But there were also, like, some just dying, laughing moments that I was like,
there were some really good ones.
Like choking, laughing.
But there were some I think just missed entirely. Like, I was like, yeah, that's... Or they drug it out a little too long, you know. And you know me, Baby Groot, I thought that was a little cheesy before I went in. And when I left, you know, I had hopes that they would minimize that. I thought they did overuse Baby Groot a bit much.
Well, you know, you went in hoping there wouldn't be as much Baby Groot. And there was a lot of Baby Groot. I'll admit that none of the Baby Groot moments were particularly funny to me. That's the ones that were missed for me. I'm like, okay.
I thought some of them were funny, but they drug them on a little too long.
I'm just immune to cute humor, so like that's just me. Like I've seen the kitten videos, and I'm like, why's a cat got some damn bread on its head? You know, like this does nothing for me. So it's like,
wow, man, you're cold. I mean, when bread on a cat doesn't make you laugh, I mean.
Something like if a crow came down and tried to eat the bread and was attacking the cat, that'd be hilarious.
That would be freaking hilarious.
But that's my sense of humor. So Drax was awesome because everything was brutal with Drax.
They definitely relied, I thought, on Drax a good bit for humor. And I did like a lot of his humor, but once again, still, I think some of them missed the mark, you know. Same thing with some of the other characters, but... Overall, really funny movie.
Movie.
Okay, so next we talk about humor a little bit. Now, there's the acting. You have
same acting. I mean,
well, you also had some new characters. You had some characters that got a lot more screen time than they had in the previous.
I actually there was comic book acting. I mean, it was about what I expected. Did anybody do an amazing performance? No, not really. But everybody was satisfactory to me.
I thought the character acting was probably the strongest part of the movie. thought the characters did really well
Maybe it's because there
when they
was
weren't
a lot
trying
of
to
age
push off a bad joke.
Maybe it's because there was a lot of drama, and drama wasn't really any of these people's strong point to me.
Yeah. Now
So when it got really dramatic, I had to kind of.
Not so much the dramatic moments. I thought the dramatic moments were done pretty good. It was the
Great story.
I thought it was the more sentimental moments. That.
But I mean,
I thought didn't play off that.
But I mean, no. Moving on to story, because that kind of plays into that. The story was great. I mean, I found myself.
No, when you say the story, you're great. You saying the overall writing or the overall story?
Well, okay.
Because
I don't want to get into spoilers.
Well, no. I'm just saying
the main
conflict
was not what I was talking about. I'm talking about the character development.
Okay, yeah.
The character development was incredible.
Yeah.
I found myself caring. I found myself actually emotional. And at the end of the movie, there were times I was just like, "Whoa, okay."
Yeah. When they go back and they talk about the backgrounds of some of the characters, and you see more about some of the characters, I think they did a really good job with that. The main story arc I thought was blah. It didn't really. It wasn't much of a story to me, and I didn't think it was that great.
But that really wasn't what you went for.
But no, I don't think that's what you.
I mean, not gonna lie, it was incredibly predictable to me, just because I knew who that guy. Because remember me when I saw him, I said, "That's blah."
Yeah.
And then when he showed blah, I went, "That's how hard it is." Not a spoiler. I
Well,
went,
no, I mean, here's
he's
the thing.
clearly doing this.
A lot of those things were already spoiled if you know anything about the comics.
I actually didn't know much about comics. I just when he showed it, I went, "Oh, that's what he's doing. This is coming back up."
And the previews sort of spoiled a lot because they let on who these characters were, which was majority of the story. So it's just like, well,
killer
there goes
Marvel
that.
movie, man. I mean, like awesome.
Yeah. No, like I said, I know
Drax could have. They kind of made Drax a little too much comedic relief.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
I would like to see him maybe kick a little bit of ass.
They relied
but he kicks almost no ass.
They relied heavily on Drax for comedy relief. And like I said, where some of it was really good, I thought, once again, that's where that was hit or miss.
But if you know the Drax character from the comics, like, he's actually a badass.
Mm-hmm.
He's a dumbass, too, but he's a badass.
Yeah.
And I'm not catching the badass.
From what I recall of the comics, he wasn't a big source of comic relief in the comics. Like he was.
I mean, he was kind of off a bit, but I mean, he freaking had the power gem and was like able to, even without it, could box with a big green there.
Yeah. And
you're not seeing that level of badass out of him at all.
Not to get. We'll talk more on that when we get into the spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
So we've talked about characters, we talked about the humor, we talked about the story. I guess that's.
Well, I mean, it looks great.
Visual. There you go.
It's amazing they managed to slide the CGI really flows. I did not find myself often. Well, except for Groot. Groot looks pretty CGI, but Rocket Raccoon really. A lot of times I was sitting there and I was going like, I forget he's CGI. Like they do an excellent job. At no point did he have that usual CGI effect when they did the crossover scenes that you could tell. I mean, that's a really good fusion. In most of the scenes interacting.
I think the reason Groot looks so much more CGI than like the adult Groot did is because of that. They gave him a cute, cartoony look, which
made him look, out of place a bit.
Yeah. When
you consider Rocket Raccoon surprisingly, really, at no point when he was right there with the other guy in that very close up, I was like, I don't see myself going like, look at the CGI Raccoon. I'm just thinking like, okay, they've managed to blend him into this environment really well.
Well, you're also thinking, I don't want to tangle with that. Look at those teeth. But yeah, but visually, it was a very visually beautiful
good
movie.
Action.
It was very, the scenes, the fight scenes, stuff like that. I thought they were
and several interesting cameos. We got to wait for spoilers for that. Yeah. Man, some awesome cameos. I was expecting to see
good. And as always, they do have the end credit moments. They actually had several end credit moments.
I did the credits. It was entertaining. Sitting through the credits was actually
the credits
kind of like
themselves.
Deadpool. It was entertaining sitting there.
It was one of those times where you're watching the black screen with all the text go up, and you're like, I'm waiting for the for the next little cutscene. But this, I mean, yeah, they were very visual with it. They sort of had that comic book
God,
style
you almost missed
background.
something important, man. I mean, I expect that from you, but I should know better. You know, you have no rhythm. But music.
Well, yeah, music was awesome.
Oh man, I mean, there was a couple times I was just sitting there going like, all right, this, and the way they.
But honestly,
did
I walked
this
in there knowing the music would be awesome. Like,
but the cinematography with the music was
Yeah.
awesome too. I mean, it was. They managed to almost. They're not a musical, but they managed to put the music so well in the movie that it's almost like a man musical. You know, it's not like a la la la. It's like, oh man, this is some good music, and aliens are getting killed to death. This is awesome.
Yeah. Well, no, and then they did that same type of stuff they did in one, where the action and the visuals go along with some kind of music that you at first thought probably shouldn't fit, but it fits so well. Yeah,
they keep putting a square peg in a round hole, and it works. You're just like, all right. So, ultimate review for me is I'm going to have to say the movie is a definite must-see. Mm-hmm. Now, I will say that barring that one in-splat, no spoilers, for continuity, they didn't really advance the main story much.
No.
I'm just bringing that up just because I know there's people out there who might, like me, I went to see some movies I didn't want to see because I wanted to make sure I didn't miss continuity.
Yeah.
But this one is definitely worth a watch. And there is a little bit at the end.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. The movie itself didn't really advance the storyline much. The end credits expanded the storyline more than the movie.
And it was really just, that's where that person is, and that's really, literally it. Like,
yeah. So anyway, yeah, I give it a thumbs up. I enjoyed the movie. I laughed a good bit. And even though it had its flaws, I'm a bit of a harsh judgment. So
he sat through Baby Groot, so you know it was good.
Yeah.
You hated Baby Groot from the very trailer, and they did. Oh my God, the beginning. Oh, they just went.
So
Groot,
anyway,
look at Groot.
Go out there if you haven't seen the movie. You should really watch it. I think it would be hard to not enjoy the movie.
To me, this is going to be, until something else comes out, this is the movie of the year right now.
Yeah.
Until, like, maybe Deadpool or...
Ragnarok.
I'm hoping Ragnarok.
I
almost hope they steal this writing crew for Ragnarok because this was a fun movie.
Well, actually, I mean, since the Guardians of the Galaxy, original Guardians of the Galaxy, you can see they took some of the color and the humor and implemented it more into the other MCU movie titles.
So, fingers crossed.
I mean,
the other
they're starting to get more colorful. They're starting to get more playful, I think.
Well, they took the alien space environment and they made it interesting.
Yeah.
Without it being overwhelming and science-y and getting way too far to sci-fi. So, we saw the trailer. You know, it should have played before the movie for Ragnarok, and I said, it looks like they're going that kind of Guardian of the Galaxy style. So...
Yeah. And this movie introduced a lot of new races and stuff. You know, you only see glimpses of them here and there, but it introduces so you get to see a lot more of the expanded universe. But all right, so at this point we're gonna move. Well, do you have a rating for it? Like would you give it 4 stars, 5 stars? 3 stars. I know we hate giving stars and caring if you don't want
That's
to.
That's for other bastards. It's a good movie. Go see it.
Yeah.
There you go. I told you to go see it.
Out of good, bad, and ugly, I choose good. So there.
You will not waste your money if you go see the movie. The only reason to not go see the movie is because you hated the first one. Yeah. If you liked the first one, it's still worth seeing this. If you love the first one, you better go see it.
Yeah. There you go. All right. So from this point on, we are going to include spoilers. So, you don't want to get any spoilers. Spoiler alert. Here they come.
Cameos. Let's get those out the way. Yeah, man. Sylvester Stallone, David Hasselhoff.
Yeah.
Cameo in this movie. Of course, Stan Lee. Yeah. The Watchers. I didn't even know if they were going to bring up the Watchers existed. But you see the Watchers?
Honestly, that was the most interesting little cameo
I know you're like
ever.
Stanley with the Watchers.
Yeah, well, okay. So this is a spoiler probably for more than just the movie. I mean, is the fact that there's been a lot of fan theories about Stan Lee's cameos, and this pretty much locked in the fact that
he literally comments, "Oh, one time I was a FedEx guy." Like he was
Stan
referencing his
Lee
own cameo.
Is every one of his cameos? They're all the same person.
He pretty much says
And
it in the movie.
he's basically an agent for the Watchers. He shows up to all these events. He sees all this
Always
stuff.
when something important's happening.
Yeah. I mean, they basically pointed that he's an agent of the Watchers in this.
Yep.
So
he even said, "You guys are my ride home," which
yeah,
basically implies the Watchers came and picked up Stan Lee and he hangs out with them.
Yeah.
That was cool. No Thanos. No Thanos at all.
Yeah, no
His name
Thanos.
gets dropped a few times, but it's just a curse's name.
Now Nebula has a big part in this.
Big time. She's got feelings. Who knows?
Yeah. She actually basically joins the good guys after.
Rock is still an asshole. Groot is still a baby up until the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Then you get to see teenage Groot.
We'll get to the end credits and stuff in a bit here.
Base story, if you didn't know, Ego, the living planet, is Star-Lord's dad.
Yeah.
Which you probably knew if you were listening to anything prior to that, because they weren't keeping that under wraps at all.
Well, no, they weren't keeping that under wraps at all. That's why I was saying. The main story was already pretty much spoiled.
He's a celestial.
Yeah, he's also he's a planet and a celestial.
And I only say that just because because of Apocalypse and other times the Celestials come up, I think of them as separate. So when they said he was Celestial, I was like, yeah, you're messing with my head here.
Well, I don't think in the comics he was ever considered a Celestial. So
yeah, but basically it's your general, I'm going to take over everything in the universe and make it all Ego. He's planting parts of himself on each planet. Banged a lot of aliens. Lots of aliens.
Yeah, so many aliens.
Do you want to get a big spoiler about Star-Lord's mom?
What's that?
You want to get the big spoiler about Star-Lord's mom?
Oh, I mean, we can get there, but I mean, there's no reason to just spout out spoilers here. Let's talk about the fucking movie, man.
The main storyline is cookie cutter. Like you said, it really was the character growth that you're in it for.
No, I didn't get from the previews that Ego was going to be the actual villain of the movie, though. So that
I about expected it.
I expected it, but I didn't.
Basically, the way, because the whole Yondu thing, I'd already guessed in the first the nature of their relationship.
Yeah.
So when he said his dad's an asshole, and this is coming from the Ravager pirate who kept threatening to eat the kid, that means that he's probably a douche.
To me, I thought that was an awesome part for Yondu with, you actually get to figure out why he didn't bring
him to him. And Yondu gets a lot of character growth. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, it's the traditional backstory trope of this character's entire backstory is being done. And he's on a path of redemption.
And he's more powerful.
Let me see you with my own eyes.
He got his full mohawk from the comics,
Yep. Unfortunately, he was too powerful because I told you, I knew he was going to die because the thing, he couldn't join the Guardians of the Galaxy. His weapon is too fucking... You see the real potential of his weapon?
Yeah.
It is ridiculous. He pretty much is a one-man army. He is easily, with his weapon, one of the most powerful Marvel characters to be put in a movie. There aren't many of the Avengers, I think, can stand up to him. That's the level of that weapon's potential when he went full bore with it.
I also thought it was funny that they sort of made the space pirates out to be sort of nice guys,
Well, the other space pirates, half of his crew turned out to be...
The other 99
Sylvester Stallone, the other 99... Stallone's a Ravager.
Yeah.
You broke the code.
Yeah. So apparently, he was trafficking kids to
Which is
Ego,
against the Ravager Code.
Which is against the Ravager Code. Now, he didn't realize... Ego had promised him that he wasn't doing anything horrible to the kids. And
he said he promised he wouldn't hurt them.
He wouldn't hurt
didn't
the
feel
kids.
a thing.
And yeah. And so he did it anyway, and the money was good. You know?
And all the Ravagers said, "You're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You've been trafficking kids."
And so then he found out that the kids were being killed off, and so that's why he kept Peter Quill.
But he basically comes out as a father figure.
Yeah.
He considered Peter to be isn't just randomly a
Which,
nice guy.
I mean, you sort of got that out of the
First
anyway.
movie. But it really develops well.
It does develop well.
You find a little bit more about Rocket Raccoon. They go further into Rocket Raccoon. Not a whole lot, but it comes up.
Yeah. They don't get deep into him much.
And there was some with Drax. If you paid attention to like her reaction when she touched him, the amount of pain that he's clearly in at the loss of his family is really
They talked up his daughter some more, which I think she will eventually show up.
Who knows?
I think she does in the comics.
I mean, all the characters had a lot of growth, except for, well, okay, I guess it kind of in the movie grew. But, you know, a lot of characters have a lot of character growth.
Yeah, now Groot didn't have any more background story.
Which is odd, because where the fuck did Groot come from?
Yeah,
like, I kind of want to know, but nah.
Yeah, well, I mean, apparently he will, he'll be back to an adult in the next one, I think they claim. Or I know at least when they do the Infinity Wars, he's supposed to be back an adult.
That'll probably could sit with you a lot better.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I mean, and it was sort of what I was sort of hoping to see a little more seriousness in this movie.
I didn't know they were going to go baby all the way. I was hoping partway through the movie they'd kind of...
Well, the reason why I was looking for a little more seriousness out of this movie is because I know that Guardians of the Galaxy is going to merge into the MCU for a bit for the Infinity Wars.
Yeah. They're going to definitely play a big part in that.
And you can't have this, I mean, this level of comedy, this level of, I don't know how well that will roll.
I'll admit that it's a little bit more comedic than I probably wanted my Avengers.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it'll still work. I mean, what they can do is play them off each other. The Avengers are more serious. The Guardians of the Galaxy are a little more slapstick. But the story, like I said, played out well. So we had cameos. Let's go ahead and we don't want to take too long on it. Basically, as the plot moves along, of course, Ego gets stopped. He's dead. But, you know, you've been planting pieces of yourself all over the galaxy.
Yeah,
so.
and you find out Peter Quill, you know, of course, has some of the celestial power. And you're like, oh, man. He just got more powerful. He just upgraded.
No, we all knew that wasn't going to last long.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't going to last long, too.
As long as the light of the planet still exists, we're like, that shit's going out before the movie's done.
And so basically they kill off Ego, and that resets...
and they kill off Yondu.
Yeah.
But it is a very intense... Like, that moment, especially when he just looks him in the eye, and I was just like... I was sitting there going like... Damn, that was really well executed. The funeral went on a little longer than I cared for. I think once they showed up, they could have cut it there. I really think once they showed up and the lights went off.
I don't know. Like that to me, that was one of the moments. It was an emotional moment.
I know, but I think that was my moment. I thought ran a little longer. I was like, you've got your emotion out of it. You can't keep pulling the heartstrings. Eventually, you stop feeling it.
Yeah.
But executed well. Several intense moments. Great scenes, man. Rocket Raccoon's forest scene was an amazing fight scene.
Okay, yeah, and now you mentioned earlier about oh shoot, I forgot his name. Big dude, serious guy. Drax, yeah. You mentioned about his power level. Now we see Drax when they're wrecking on this planet. He was tied to the ship by a rope, so his body goes through the atmosphere.
I mean, it's clear that he's...
Gets beat up, hitting trees, hitting rocks, all this stuff. I mean, just completely...
I know, which is why when you look back at it, you do realize he was in only one scene of combat.
Yeah.
He gets into that one fight pretty much at the beginning that's mostly done off screen. It's played for comedy. And then he didn't... Yeah. No. The big action scene at the end, where was he?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you see his power level, though.
I know, but I would have liked to have seen him. Well, he's freaking Batista.
He comes out of it without a scratch.
I know. I wish he had been a little more used in the combat. But awesome. At the end, the end credits... They basically show Adam Warlock's cocoon. He's apparently going to be a part of this race that genetically introduced people for a purpose, which I don't know how canon that is to his original backstory.
You had Alec Warlock. You had
Howard the Duck.
Nah, that wasn't.
It was a cameo.
That was just a picture in the credits.
No, he was on the island.
Was he on the island?
Once you go, you're out of luck. Once you go duck or some other horrible joke that was really not funny.
I might have
it was so terrible you apparently blocked it out. Yeah, that was the bad joke.
So yeah, let's see. You had another scene because you had a scene the scene with Stanley and the Watchers. In the middle. And then you had one at the end credits.
But apparently Adam Warlock is being created by this race to get revenge on the Guardians of the Galaxy since they failed at every possible turn to do so.
They got their ass.
Apparently that's going to be short-lived, though. We know what he's really going to be up for. He's getting ready for Infinity Wars.
Yeah.
Because, I don't even think it's going to change.
I don't think Alan Warlock is going to be in Infinity War.
Really?
Nah.
He's always been tied to the Infinity Gems and Thanos pretty heavily.
I mean, from what I understand, he doesn't... No, he may show up. I don't know. Apparently, he doesn't get a movie until after Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Oh, yeah. I think the Infinity Wars will be probably started by then. Depends on how they're going to do Infinity Wars. Are they going to do it back-to-back? Are they going to do, like, one movie 1 year and another movie another year? At which point they could slide the Guardians of the Galaxy maybe in the middle and then put them out. Who knows? But basically, you're in it for the character growth story. The main story is the basic, I'm ego, I'm lonely, I'm going to take over the universe. Guardians of the Galaxy save the universe. That's literally the least important part of almost the entire story.
But hey, they saved the galaxy twice.
I know, twice, man. You can really jack the prices up now.
Yeah.
But no Infinity Gems are introduced. This is an entertaining story with a lot of character growth for the main characters, and then a little plug at the end to let you know this is still happening. There's still stuff happening.
Now, Green Chick, Gamora.
Yeah,
Gamora. She you get a lot more of her backstory as well. I think we sort of missed.
Her and her sister Nebula.
Which is the increased of Nebula in the story is her and Gamora have. I think their story was probably one of the most other than Handu.
Yeah, that was definitely the next really good part of the story. Though I really did like the thing with Drax, just because it was a moment that, they were playing.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it was small, those...
Yeah, it was just one scene that if you were observant, you catch the intensity of the moment and go, there. But the fact that he just keeps that straight face, but you're aware that under that mask there's all that. I was like, oh, cool.
But anyway, I think we're looping back around and stuff now. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it. Even with its flaws, it was worth watching. What, man? I'm sorry. I can't give it a 100%,
There wasn't... Okay, there was a lot of Groot.
I give it about a B if I was grading it.
Oh, wow. I'm going to give it an A. I'm going to give it an A.
Probably a B+.
But I'll admit I can't quite give it an A+, but that's just because... a few missed opportunities. A few. Not even a lot, just a few. That I think would have polished it on out. That, and I would have liked to have seen a little bit more advancement of the overall
story arc.
I would have liked to have seen something.
And a little more integration into the MCU.
It felt a little fluffy. It felt a little more like fluff than it did a major another part of the story. If you missed the movie, especially now that you told me Adam Warlock's probably not going to be in Infinity Wars, you don't want... all their movies, it felt like you needed to see them as part of the universe. This is the first one I've seen, and I'm like, this one could have... If you missed it, you don't lose track of the story.
Other than the end credits, the main story, I don't see what they'd really pull from that is required, in from the.
Well, hopefully they'll reference it. I mean, that stuff did happen on Earth too. The planet, when he started trying to take over.
Now that did happen on Earth, so that maybe that could come up. So
to try to tie it in a little better, because right now it's kind of an outside story.
Yeah,
there you go. That's what it feels. It feels like an outside story, an amazing outside story, but an outside story. There we go.
Yeah,
we're not gonna beat a dead horse. The main thing is the movie was definitely worth the money.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed watching it, and I hope you enjoyed watching this. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like. In the description down below, we have our links to our social media: Facebook, Google+, Patreon, Twitter. You can follow us on those, but, be sure to subscribe, tell your friends, and if you have any comments, you disagree with us or you agree with us, throw it down in the comments. We'll have a discussion. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.